Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Hey everybody, we back again.
We back. We're live.
I'm Spencer, your co-host, and of course we have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
Give your balls a tug.
Yep, there you go. Remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or do, it's completely up to you.
Yep. Don't forget to rub those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it.
Facts.
So as you could tell by our little statement there of the balls, we're going to be doing the show Shoresy, Hulu exclusive Shoresy. Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about hockey. We're going to be talking about masculinity, softness, being a dick, being a fucking dick,
a girthy one.
Lord have us. This is about to be some.
Why does it smell?
Like cheese? What? Too much calcium in your diet. Anyways, also we're going to talk about identity and also fighting. We've talked about all those great topics while also tying in just some great hockey talk and some other sports stuff. Nazir,
I don't know shit about hockey, my guy. Do you know anything about hockey?
A little bit. I watch a little bit. I mean, like my high school was actually pretty fucking good at hockey.
Okay.
We actually have the most like national championships in Minnesota.
All right.
Yeah. Edina.
Yeah, so that Mighty Duck shit is real. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Those cake eaters.
Cake eaters.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bombay.
Yep.
Blind V.
Yep. Yep.
There you go.
Anything before we get to the show?
So bear with us, folks. This is a very masculine show. I promise you there's dimes in there, there's good stuff in there, there's really good, there's some meatiness, meaty clackers in there.
Yeah, a lot of skiing.
A lot of ski pulling. It's actually a magnificent show for me, but I think many other people too. So you're going to see a lot of stuff in there. There's going to be a lot of tropes about men, masculinity. I'm sure some folks won't like it because they're going to be like, this is a bunch of stupid men just doing stupid men shit. But there's a lot of interesting aspects about masculinity, men, mental health, anxiety, depression, substance abuse, navigating relationships. We're going to focus on Shoresy, which the whole show is about. He's also the writer, producer. He also did Letterkenny, which is like a huge hit. So all low budget stuff.
Yeah.
And Shoresy's like a big asshole. So I know a lot of you might be turned off about that, but I really want you to tune in. I do think that the show is really good to understand some of these dudes and the trials and tribulations. I know a lot of people will just hate men and sometimes rightfully so. But people are complex. We are complex as men. Emotions are different. We're taught different ways. We're suppress, hold. And so Shoresy, we see a really nice intersection of like toxicity as fuck. Like he's a terrible dude. But then you see him and his family and how he loves them. You see him growing up in foster care. You see how protective he is of the students that he teaches later on in season 4. You see how much he loves the woman that he's chasing, which we're going to focus on today. And we're going to talk about a lot about how he just seems autistic as shit, but just in general, we're going to talk about intimacy. And we're going to have some fun. For a lot of you folks that aren't going to like some of the masculine stuff and tropes in there, a lot of strong women in the show, a lot of magnificent women in the show. And it's fucking, and they're badass. And so there's tons of respect for women in the show. So don't get thrown off with like his teeth and how the hockey shit, like it's legit. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into him crying like a little fucking baby. but then also tweaking out. So I think y'all gonna love it. This show gets me my emotions. I also fucking crack up about it. You know, it's sexy. It's big. It's big sexy. It's just fun. It makes you miss a lot of like sports and your friends and talking shit too.
Mm, yeah.
You just miss that. You don't get that community. You know, that's a fun time. Minus all the pressure and anxiety. It's just really good times when you're connected to that many people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna give you the man's perspective, you know, and why.
What other perspective can we give? We're gonna give you the female perspective.
We're gonna tell you, female, how you.
Let me open up my labia and let me show you that.
God, Jesus Christ. Well, on that note, you're the one that made it weird. On that note,
whoop whoop. Hey everyone, before we get into the show, please check out our collaborator, Bubs Naturals. They sell a variety of health and wellness products, including collagen peptides, MCT oil powder, coffee, apple cider vinegar gummies, and other amazing products. Go to bubsnaturals.com and use our code DSP20 to get 20% off your entire order. And with that, let's get into the show.
Start by saying there is no other place I would rather be in the entire world than right here with you right now.
Hey, Shoresy.
Can't you see I'm just completely taken by you? Like, I've never known a feeling like this.
Let's assemble.
Why are we doing this here when we could be over at 7-Star Dumpling House? It's some fucking bibimbap.
How do they feel about never losing again?
How do you feel about it?
I don't care.
Oh, you are an absolute stallion.
You're a horse face.
I won't rest till I get even a shoulder pat from you.
That would be the most a man has got from me in a very long time, Shoresy.
Hey, you ever been sitting across from someone just trying to have a normal conversation, fighting every urge inside yourself to just scream out, yeah!
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, I've never let myself be so vulnerable with someone before. It feels amazing.
You are a lot, dude.
God, it, I'd be good to you.
Yeah?
Oh, I'd be good to you like crazy.
How good?
Like you wake up in the morning, I'm right there being good to you.
That's actually unsettling.
How do you feel about a couple steaks and some corn on the cob?
With your 4 roommates?
5.
Apologies to Big Sexy.
I'll honor you till the day I die, I swear to God.
From the guy infamous for wheeling 2 of his friends' moms in Letterkenny.
They aren't my friends, and their moms were wheeling me.
Text me the score after the game.
Are you not coming?
Huh? I got my kid this weekend.
Well, no one gets a good story from just a score.
And no one cares.
Let's say we do this next time over a nice piping hot bowl of miso ramen. Laura Moore's the hottest girl in Sudbury, you fucking idiot. Oh my God. Oh, hey Laura, did you just hear that piece of shit? So dumb.
Judging by the parking lot, a handful of people care now.
Sudbury Saturday night.
Cheapest drinks in the city, too.
When are you gonna let me take you out for some good Caribbean?
I don't date sluts.
My God, are you good looking. I know I may come off as a real devil-may-care kind of guy, but we both know you'd run my show.
Yeah, how so?
I'd take a header off the Bridge of Nations just to brush arms with you.
Huh?
I'd full gainer down the crack in Killarney just to hold your purse. I'd sit my bare ass on the Big Nickel just to have you flick some debris off my shirt. I swear to God, I'd be so good to you.
Does North Bay's captain still have the biggest C in the league?
It's the biggest fucking sea in the world.
See ya.
Hey, when was the last time you had some good assorted tempura?
Fuck you, Shoresy.
For what?
You're welcome. My pleasure.
You know, you could have breakfast with me every day of the week if you wanted.
I know.
You want to talk about the Yanks?
I need a quote.
Castle.
You should look at people when they're talking to you.
No, it's better this way, trust me.
Why?
Because you're so fucking hot, I can't look at you and focus at the same time.
Uh-oh.
Which sucks because I just want to let you in so bad.
You've really got those walls up.
Look, I've made mistakes in the past, okay? I show myself to people too quickly, then I get hurt.
Try, for me.
All right, but you look like that, so don't be surprised if I look like I want to be underneath you.
I'll try to conceal it.
Oh my God.
I need a quote.
Hey, you ever look at someone, they look so good, you just want to go, no way!
No.
Have you ever had that? You look at someone, you just want to go, all right!
The Sioux Hunt.
Oh, I tell the boys the sexiest thing about you is your mind, and here I am breaking a sweat because I can see your bras in non-traditional colors.
Yeah, what else do you tell them?
I just tell them how much you challenge me and make me curious with your ideas.
Do ya?
You know, I've never had someone expand my horizons like this.
I don't know what to do with you, man.
Laura, it's taken me a lifetime, but I finally feel alive.
I'm not gonna get my quote, am I?
Give me a shot, Laura.
Text me something. What do you really say about me?
I'll never tell.
I'm a journalist. I'll keep asking.
You're smart, capable, rational, dependable, outgoing, kind, consistent. You're a leader. And you smell so fucking good.
Yeah?
Quote me.
Suspended?
No,
Well, no broken bones.
I still got all his teeth.
Then what's the problem?
I've come to tell you your window's closing.
Oh, finally seduced Stannis?
I wouldn't even know what to do with her.
That is a woman.
I'd make a fucking fool of myself.
So who's stealing you?
I'll be attending gay night at the Colson tonight.
You're going?
And I'm told, if I'd like to, I could fuck some dudes up the ass.
Ever done that before?
No?
I think your window's closing.
Listen, I'm told there's a pretty good time to be had at these things, if I'm up for it. But maybe if you come down, I'll keep my wits about me.
Maybe?
I'll already started drinking, so it's a soft maybe.
Maybe. Look, whoever you're honking for, you got the wrong house.
Dear Laura, it's me, Shoresy. I'm speaking to you through this pimple farmer for 2 reasons. 1, I'm busy doing what I have to do to get a girl like you. And 2, I want to show this zit face what it takes to get a girl like you. I'm sure you wish it was somebody better looking reading this, but if you can believe it, he's the least ugly of the 4. Mason, the guy in the truck, is the most ugly.
Fuck's sakes.
And ugliest of the 4 is spelled F-O-R. You asked me to fuck off for the summer and figure out if I'm sure about you and about us. It's been a long summer of reflection and consideration, but mostly pulling on it. More than I want to admit. Laura, much more of this and I'm gonna pull that thing right off. I've also used this time to finally read The 5 Languages of Love, and I'll tell you this, that book is for broads. The 5 languages of love are words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, acts of service, and receiving gifts. 224 pages for 5 things any dumb fuck is doing for their sweetie without even thinking about it, if they're really into them. That's what I've been doing while you deny my affection, putting in the work. Deny, spelled D-E-N-Y-E.
What are you doing?
Timed it almost perfectly, bud.
Want me to keep reading?
Shut the fuck up, Jack.
Okay, but
Go just shut the fuck up.
What are you doing?
What it takes.
What is wrong with you?
I asked you what I had to do to get you. And you said,
Run a marathon. I did?
I fucking knew it.
A whole one?
42 kilometers, smartass. You want a noogie?
You ran a marathon?
Yeah.
You ran a marathon.
Yeah.
You ran a marathon?
Well, I fucking walked a bit, like up that super steep hill by the water tower. I'm not fucking Terry Fox.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I had Tens catcalled me from convertibles the entire time. You better get your act together.
I don't even remember saying run a marathon.
Well, I remember everything you say.
Do ya?
Try me.
When's my kid's birthday?
April 9. When's Big Sexies?
What's my death row meal?
Crinkle cut fries. What's mine?
Box of Timbits. What's my pet peeve?
People who go like this out their car window. What's mine?
Commercials that make you cry.
What superpower would I want?
To breathe underwater, me?
To heal people. Jack, finish the fucking letter.
Today I ran a marathon, even though you probably don't remember telling me to. I'll run another one tomorrow if you want. I'll run another one right now. Tell me what to do and I'll do it, because this is the summer I close on Laura Moore.
All right, Shoresy. Let's have a sleepover.
That's how you do it. That's what it takes. Sometimes you gotta dance for him, Jake.
Yeah.
You want the girl?
What are you doing, my son?
What are you doing?
Your face.
Huh?
Bro,
What's he doing?
what's it look like?
Why does he have his tarp on?
What?
Huh?
Why would he have his tarp off?
Because if I'm abroad looking at a sexy calendar of dudes, I'm probably hoping they have their tarps off.
Your face is orange.
It looks like you ate an Oompa Loompas mitt.
What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
You look like the tip of Chester Cheetah's dick, my guy.
Did you get a spray tan?
Well, I thought everybody would have a spray tan.
Why?
Because if I'm abroad looking at a sexy calendar of dudes, I'm probably hoping they have a spray tan.
Settle down.
What's with the sunglasses?
Me?
Oh my God.
After I got the spray tan, I looked at myself in the mirror and the whites of my eyes were so white it kind of freaked me out.
Does no one else think that this is hilarious?
Want to get lippy?
Just take them off. Take your top off too. Let's have a look at you.
I'm gonna wait till the grease down to take my tarp off.
Grease down?
Oh my God. So dumb.
Why would you have a grease down?
Because if I'm abroad looking at a sexy calendar of dudes, I'm probably hoping they're greased down.
How is that shade of orange even an option? I mean, it's almost offensive.
Shut the fuck up, Michael.
Is your whole body that color?
Yeah?
Even your junk?
Yeah?
Nice.
They did your junk too.
I did my own junk.
How?
You just take the spray gun and you spray your junk. A monkey could do it.
Did you do your butthole too?
Let's just get these guys greased down and spray tan so we can be done with it.
What?
You want everyone to get a spray tan?
Well, except Dolo.
Why not Dolo?
Well, he can if he wants to. He's included. You're an idiot.
This is a bit much.
You look ill.
You've been a real cunt since you got good hair, Zeke.
Why did you do all this?
Because a year ago you were gonna fold the team. We couldn't win a game. But then you kept the team together and we won the league. Now no one can beat us. So, if you say you want us to do a sexy calendar so that you can host the national senior tournament.
So we can. Sudbury.
For the community.
By the community. What are you trying to say, Shoresy?
Whatever.
You need from me?
Give your balls a tug.
I got you.
Go get a spray tan, then come back here, take your tarps off, and get a grease down.
Coming up.
Yes, sir.
You sluts are gonna make me some money. You're up first, Captain.
Shoresy, you came back from a concussion in the first round, and you played through a torn groin and a hip pointer.
What happens with the hip pointer? Can't push when you shit.
You were the leader this team needed. Shoresy, game stick goes to you, my man.
Be proud, Shoresy.
Chin up, buddy.
There's Jesus Christ, we nearly had him.
What is it, my dude?
I brought you guys in because everybody was acting like bitches. And now you're all acting like bitches too.
Okay, that's unfair, Shoresy.
Just shut the fuck up, Michaels.
Fucking we just lost to the Yanks. You're all acting like you want to eat each other's pussies. Like you're opening a second bottle of wine with your gal pal.
My son.
I just want to fucking lift my head right now because you're probably all giving each other skeeples.
Come on, Shoresy, say something positive.
Fucking Summerfeld's dog mom wasn't licking her lips at me all fucking night for once.
Okay.
Fucking Brinksy's fat sister isn't looking as ugly as when she tried to fuck me 2 years ago.
Shoresy.
Fucking Michael's ex-sweetie flashed me her bird and I thought it was an accident, but now I don't think it was.
Hey! What about Phillips? He had the game of his life.
Who?
Phillips.
That's Philip.
No, it isn't.
What do you think that is?
I don't fucking know.
Shoresy, the boys are hurt.
It's fucking hockey! You go to you can't go no more!
Good luck in Sioux, Michigan.
You can make history here, Natalie.
Something real shiny. What do you think, Nina?
You don't want to lose to the Yanks.
Oh, and what's this I hear about you guys having gay night down at the Colson?
What's it called? Backdoor tuck-in?
The man advantage. I would have gone with D-men, but alas.
All right, and we're back again.
We're back, and we're going to talk about white men.
As we usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
America's most precious souls right now.
Their stock is going up. That's for sure.
It is. They're having a great time.
Yeah. Well, while the actual stock market has been the shitter.
Correct.
Anyways, so before we get into it, shout out to like all of our great sports shows that we like to talk about and just watch in general. I mean, we just saw that Ted Lasso is going to be renewed for a season 4. And it turns out by Jason Sudeikis himself that he's going to be coaching the women's team in season 4, and which makes sense because they were leading to that at the end of the season 3. They were like, oh yeah, we're going to start getting into a women's league and stuff, and obviously I think they're gonna like phase out like the characters that we know from like the first 3 seasons, which kind of sucks because we love those characters. But I'm excited because I think especially now women's sports is such a huge topic of discussion, and I think you kind of have to have it in your show to kind of make sure that they actually get the attention that they kind of deserve.
Representation.
Let's be honest here. Yeah, because we don't, although in the last few years we've seen a lot of growth in women's sports, still not getting the attention they deserve and things like that. And you can always argue like, well, people aren't watching. Well, I mean, where can you watch it, really?
They don't put. How are you gonna watch and fall in love with if you don't fucking put the things on TV?
And let's be honest here, the unrivaled women's league is one of the most watched leagues in sports right now.
Okay.
And it's all women's 3-on-3. And so it's a good balance between like, okay, well, where do we watch it? How do we watch it? And things like that. But, I think it'll be a good season 4 once we.
I think it's going to be awesome. I think the culture needs more of these sports shows, biopics, things, right, with women to inspire a lot of other girlies. To know that, hey, you can do this. And it doesn't matter if you're more masculine or feminine. You can do this, have fun, make some money, hopefully. But also you don't have to like judge yourself. I feel like a lot of women think that there's a certain version, and this is true. Society puts the version, and I'm not going to speak for all women. Obviously, I'm a dude, but I talk to a lot of women as a counselor. A lot of women, it's hard to hold the reality of being masculine, right? Being more muscular, being like bigger, taller, stronger, faster, and then also having to fit into that feminine role as soon as they get off the ice, off the field. It's like, how do you hold space for those identities? And so I love that we get to see the shows, and I love that it's going to happen on Ted Lasso. Huge platform, Spencer. I mean, we're talking like one of the most famous shows in TV history.
Yeah. I mean, it's still like one of their most watched shows on Apple TV
Rightfully so.
to this day. Even though like shows like Severance and all the other great shows that they have on there are doing great, but like Ted Lasso's still like top 3 for them.
It's good. So good.
Yeah. So I'm very excited. Can't wait for it to come out and see what direction they go into. So
wow. Yeah. But before we get to the women, Spencer, let's talk about the women.
Oh, yay.
Let's talk about what's his name? Jared Kessel.
Yep, Jared Queso.
He got
that's his name.
Okay, he white as queso. I did
that. Well, just that food reference.
I was sitting right in that diaper.
Yeah, right in the ship. Anyways, Jared Queso. He's the creator and director, writer, all that fun stuff of Letterkenny, and then also of the show that we're going to be talking about today, Shoresy. Originally from Canada. He's a Canadian. I wouldn't be surprised if he also played hockey because,
probably did.
Speak about what you know.
Speak about what you know. What do you know? I know hockey and winter's coming. I couldn't think of nothing.
There you go. And so, So we're talking about this show, Shoresy. Follows this guy who moves to this other part of Canada called Sudbury, and joins a senior AAA hockey team in the quest to never lose again.
Yep. Whale shit hockey, they call it. Whale shit hockey.
There you go. I've actually never seen the show.
Yeah.
Naz is more of an expert. He's seen it. He tried to show me the show Letterkenny, and didn't go well.
Why didn't you like it? I feel like it's just a bunch of lovely white people in the woods. Just
Canadian woods.
Yeah. It's
like
odd.
you tried showing me it, and like you're like, this show is hilarious. But when we watched it together, neither you or I actually fucking laughed at all
Yeah, I know.
because it was just so. I think you have to really get it was just so dry. The
So
humor
dry.
is just so fucking
So
dry,
dry.
and it just didn't click for me for some reason. Like
Yeah.
it just didn't click at all. And so you were telling me about how it's like for Letterkenny, it's one of those shows where it's like you either like it or you don't.
Yep.
And it just didn't click for me. I don't know. This guy just walking around in a plaid shirt and fucking jeans, just being like, "Oh wow, like I wanna have sex with you, but not really, And I'm
Yeah.
like,
He gets in fights. He talks
Yeah.
to women. And that's about it.
which it's like, hey, that's great if you love it. And also somebody else tried to show me that shit in like college, and I was just like, "No, it's not like you need to get out of my room." Like leave right now.
It's not everyone's cup of tea, man. It's it's very weird and very repetitive. It's weird on how he writes. It's just so repetitive. They say the same stuff over and over and over and over. And I'm like, y'all motherfuckers got echolalia. Because this shit.
I believe also like he had these clips of this character on the internet first.
Okay.
And then he made a show about it, from what I think. Because I think I've seen the clips online before I ever heard about the show.
Okay.
And so I think he became famous through this character.
Yep.
And he would talk a lot of shit. And then all of a sudden, then he got a show. And then now he has like 2 shows. But yeah, I think that's how he got big from this character and how he kind of came out of nowhere. But
there you go.
Yeah.
Which leads us till today.
Yes.
So those of you, Letterkenny's a different breed. So that's following him, his sister, and like his 2 best friends, the trials and tribulations of living in this like podunk town. And then, all this stuff, being Canadian, fighting other people, drug addicts. And then there's also a lot in there about hockey. So in there, because he's the main star, this very autistic-coded individual that doesn't really talk much, no eye contact, super odd. And then, but later on, you get introduced to this other guy named Shoresy, who never shows his face, but plays a lot of hockey and is like legit a piece of shit. Doesn't have to talk trash, like just super mean, aggressive, the dirtiest player in like the Canadian leagues. And then after Letterkenny ended, you see the show Shoresy that comes out. So it's like, what do they call it? The epilogue, right? It's the prequel, whatever.
Prequel. Yeah.
It's the after of that. And so you follows this character that you think's just going to be a straight up dirtbag that you hate, but that's really good at hockey, but also like a piece of shit. But like now he's old. And like he's won championships in the Canadian League, Spence and Letterkenny, but like now he's old and he's on this shit team. They go 0-20 when we see the first episode, and they're getting blown out every game. And so they get rid of the coach, right? This and that. And we start getting into him just being emotional and crying right off the bat because they're going to fold the team. And that's all he's got left in his life is this hockey team that sucks. And that's the story of the trials and tribulations of him, this team, and just trying to win. And as Spencer said, they're never trying to lose another game. Spoiler alert. They end up losing. Duh. And then they win in the playoffs. And then the next season is like they go undefeated. Then the next season they're trying to win the National Cup. And then the following season is them during summer break. So it's a lot of ups and downs, great cinematography, music, all that stuff. Really good for motivation. But like if you're not cool with like the masculinity of it, it can be tough. I think it's fantastic. I also really love dry humor because I'm autistic as fuck. And not every autistic person likes dry humor. My dumb ass loves it. Spence needs a little bit more sauce. Needs sauce.
No. Yeah, I like my shit lemon pepper wet. Not that dry rub shit.
Yeah. I like mine rare. Spencer's likes a little bit more cooked more. He likes his a little bit more prepared.
You like caveman fucking barely even cooked, just like right off the fucking bone.
Right off the bone.
As they're alive.
Yep. Smack my ass. Let's get ready.
That's okay. Those are 2 different things, but hey, all
I'm
right.
ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready real quick. It's time.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Power bottom.
So today I'm taking over this a little bit because I want to introduce the scenes. I think Spence, I showed you the scenes and we all watched them together. I want to focus on the relationship between him and Laura Moore.
Yep.
And so, Spence, obviously everyone knows that we're not going to go scene by scene. We're just going to kind of go stick to him in the relationship with this girl.
Yeah.
That he's like romantically trying to sauce up, rizz up, date. And she keeps rejecting him and rejecting him and rejecting him. When you see these scenes, Spence, like, what are your thoughts just in general about his character, about her, the dynamic? What are just your immediate thoughts of this individual before I get into some stuff?
You know, I think this is how dating works, and sometimes don't trust like the things you see and hear on the internet. And I say that because everything, for some people, it's like picture perfect and everything goes exactly the way we want it to. In other ways, it doesn't, right? And so if you read what he is doing and what he said, like online or on like a text, you'd be like, oh, this guy's a creep, and he won't just like stop. He won't stop and leave this girl alone, right? While in reality, that's a lot of times how we actually, are actually with the ones that we love, because we are consistently are trying to be with them. And like, obviously, if somebody's like, no, I don't want to be with you at all, then yeah, stop that. But in this case, he's talking with her, he's having conversations, and he's just saying like, man, I just want to be with you so bad, but you keep on trying to, wiggle away, and I don't like that. But you know what? I do. Because it's about the chase sometimes.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just about the chase. Really getting in the relationship, it's about chasing this person and being like, you know what? They keep on playing around, but I kind of like it. Like it.
I mean, they're flirty.
Yeah.
Their flirtiness feels very real and authentic. And
yeah,
what's your vibe on like how he always talks about, he's not creepy because he's saying very nice, very affirming. He's very considerate. Nothing's like sexualized. He's like, one day you're going to give me an arm pat and I'm just going to love it so much. And I'm just like, boy, I've said that. I have said that.
Yeah. I like it because it's, like you said, it's real and he's not being like overly creepy. And, I think some guys should learn from that and, learn like when, like actually feel the vibes out. Cause she's also, giving right back to the tease, and she keeps on asking him questions about it and everything like that and keeping it going. And so I like when people actually show like the other side of like actually flirting, and like you said, it's a realistic thing that they're kind of going through, because I think we've all had those moments where we're just like kind of playing around and seeing where it goes.
Yeah, you're digging.
Yeah.
When he does, and I'm talking about this isn't all men, this is just select few of us, but for me specifically, or like even women, non-binary folks that are listening today. So anyone that's listening, do any of y'all get like super excited? Like you're sitting there with someone and he's like, you're right. Like I felt that way. And you just want to go, oh yeah. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, yes. Sometimes you're with someone and you're just like, oh yeah. This is fucking awesome. And he just gets so giddy. And I'm going to say this. I think I met someone.
Ooh.
I think.
Get giddy.
I think, 100%. I literally just laugh with them the whole time. Not the butterflies. I just laugh with them so much. They just giggle and we just talk. I ain't gonna like they thick on a motherfucker too now. They thick, and it's a black one. It's a black one.
They got that Cajun seasoning.
Yeah, they said that they was Indian too, though. I was like, oh, that threw me off. Okay.
Like, oh, got that curry. Right.
Oh my God, it's spicy.
I like it spicy.
Two tums over here, please. And I don't know, man. She just makes me feel so good. We're laughing, we're vibing. She tells me we're hanging out in my boy's office, and she goes, Nas, why are you like this? I was like, bitch.
Yep, that's the one for you.
That's the one. She's like, I know why I'm like this. I saw that she was gorgeous. My views of gorgeous beauty is very different than others, but she is gorgeous. And already just attracted them. But then they started laughing with me and my boy, Tony. And then I'm like, wait a minute, you shouldn't be able to keep up with us because like we be saying weird ass shit and like horrible, like mean bullying shit. And they just be laughing. I'm like, and then they started adding to it. And I'm like, oh, something wrong with you, girl. Who hurt you?
I know, right? Who hurt you?
Who hurt you? Bro, when she cracks up, I'm just lighting up, my guy. And sometimes when some of us are attracted to people, right, we get very reclusive. We get very scared. We don't know how to act. I think I was hanging out with some people at a party recently, and they said most of the time when I am like legit attracted to someone, I rescind into myself. And I act just more stoic, more reserved, more kind of cool boyish, even though that's not who I am.
Right.
And I think people are like, oh, that's how you act? I'm like, yeah, man, because I don't want to act like a dumbass in front of someone like I'm legit chasing. And so right now I'm not actually chasing this woman that I'm attracted to. So maybe that's why I'm still being a dumbass and giddy, kind of like Shoresy.
Yeah.
But like, I want everyone to think about, have you ever been with anyone that gives you those vibes? You're just like, man, I'd be so good to you. I'd be so good to you. Oh my God. He says so much. He's like, I researched how to do this. I researched how to dance for you. Like he does so much for her.
Yeah.
And obviously not a perverted, not a hypersexual way. And I wonder, do you like that for other folks?
Mm-hmm.
Or I feel like a majority of folks are going to say that men are usually trash. The majority of them men. And they just looking for what we call the coochie. They're trying to get a little, no.
Yeah.
Trying to get a little play. What's up, Sven?
I just think that everybody's a hoe nowadays. Like, it doesn't matter what gender you are. Everybody's a hoe.
Everyone's home. We just looking for love. We just looking for love, Spence.
It just find it in there.
It just happens to be a penis.
I finally found a magical one.
I know. One of my clients, I forgot how this conversation happened. I said, they got what they call a magic stick, girl. And they said, what? I said, 50 Cent said it best. That man got the magic stick.
Man. Yeah.
Shout out to 50.
But that's the thing about this, though, is
What's
like,
up?
he is attracted to her,
Yes.
like physically, but then also emotionally as well. Like he loves her intelligence and how she makes him like expand his mind, right? How he said in the show, he likes how she isn't just like, she's not just somebody that you just sleep with and then that's it. She's somebody that you actually want to talk to and be around all the time. And so we sometimes get stuck in like the physical part. And I think, to be honest, I do think like that plays a part in relationships, and I think it should. I think if you're physically attracted to somebody, that's fine.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, I mean, you also have to factor in like that emotional part as well.
What's the connection?
Yeah, what like connected to, right? Because I've been with people before I met my girl and stuff like that, and there just wasn't a connection there. It just wasn't connected at all. But when I'm with my girl, now I can actually be myself, and also,
Hey, they got what she got them. She got the gumbo pot,
Yeah, yeah, she ain't even from Louisiana.
She got the whole bowl of girl. This is the best chili I ever had. Why is it chili? I don't know.
I don't know why. You just love chili.
I just had chili today.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I had sex with this.
But anyway, it's one of those deals where you get to mix in a lot of personality and then physicality too, with everything. And that's how it goes. Sometimes that's how it starts off. We sometimes are so reluctant to like get into the bedroom with people because they think they're going to leave right after.
Yep.
Right? Which
Yep.
it could happen.
It does happen.
But at least for me, I feel like you should also enjoy those moments as well. At least you had like that connection with somebody physically, because some people don't even get to have that in life.
Correct.
Where they get to connect physically. And so it's like, why? Yeah, sure. Like they left, but at least then you could have that part of you that was like, you know what? Even though they left, had a good time.
Yeah.
Had fun. Oh, maybe that wasn't the right person for me. Moving on, doing the next thing. I think we get stuck in the fact like, oh, hey, this person just left, and after we, had sex or something like that, it's like, okay, then they weren't the right person for you. Move it along. That doesn't mean you have to like just cut that out in your life. You can still have fun and still have those times.
Correct. It really depends on where you're at in your life when it comes to relationships, intimacy, long as everything is consensual. Obviously, everything we're talking about is consent-based.
Yeah.
But some people won't be your partner. That'll just be a platonic like hangout, and then you just happen to hook up with. Sometimes we want that to be more consistent with that hookup partner as safer. Sometimes we develop emotions after we're more physical. Well, you see this with Shoresy is he's deeply connected to her because he's definitely attracted to her. But there's that one clip where she wants a quote from him about her. He's like, what do you tell people about me? He's like, I'm not going to tell you. And then she walks away and he's looking at the diner where they always meet for the interviews. And he says, you're intelligent, you're funny, you're a leader, you're kind, you're passionate. I'm like, oh my God, boy, stop. You crushing hard. You crushing hard, my guy. He loves her. I think we're talking a difference between like legit loving a person and who they are versus just sexualizing them. And so Spencer's right. We vibe with some people. I think they very much vibe. And so this is a conversation for neurodivergent folks, but also neurotypical folks is what is it that you find like super attractive in someone? A lot of people don't know what that is. A lot of people are just like really lonely and they just want to have someone. That's fine. But what do you want in a companion? Number one, what will they look like? What will the behaviors and mannerisms? What's their resume? Do you want them to be educated? Do you want them to be just a good person? Do they need what type of job? Like, have you thought about what you're looking for? It doesn't matter what their gender or sexuality is. What is the human that is behind all this stuff? And I think a lot of people don't do that, Spence. Well, Shoresy has identified someone that he was willing and who was willing to engage with his flirtiness to like go for and like punch it. And he's not hooking up with any other women. He's not doing nothing else, right? He's like, and all his friends are just crushing ass. I'm not going to lie. They're just crushing ass, bro.
Hockey players. What are you going to do?
That's why they call them sluts on here.
Yeah.
Hockey sluts.
Yeah.
Which is, do the thing, right? That's why I just find so interesting about this character, though, Spence, is what's the mask? Is the mask him being the asshole on the ice and the bully, which we'll get into like later on in the scene? Is it that talking shit, being horrific to people, talking about screwing everyone's mind and yelling at people, give your balls a tag. That's what it calls people soft. Or is it this guy that shows up for his girl? Is it him that shows up for his coach, for his little guys that he coaches? Who are you? And I think we get to see a real version of like love and intimacy. And he's like, girl, I've never been so vulnerable with anyone before. And like, he's teasing and talking shit, but he's actually being real. Like he's legit vulnerable with her. Just the way he smiles at her and the way she smiles with him. I'm just like, that's that real shit, my guy. And for neurodivergent, funny people like me and you, Spence, for people with like trauma like me and you that like to talk shit, be bubbly, ADHD like me and you, that's that shit when you're talking and vibing and like that's the real smiles. It's not just like this romantic thing where you're getting rizzed up. I feel like I've never actually seen that. I feel like for me, it's always been this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I mean, are you a suave and sophisticated guy when you're laying on the game? Because I feel like I'm just like,
No. When I was a single lad,
when you were crushing tush.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like when I was growing up, I didn't have any of that confidence or any of that like wordplay growing up. I was just be like, I really like you, and then like run away.
So autistic,
wasn't good.
Yeah,
wasn't good at all.
I'll show you my train, the big one.
Jeez,
you pervert.
Yeah. I don't have traits.
I love how I make up stories about people and they're not even true.
Not true at all. But I didn't have any type of like communication skills when it came to women or anything like that. Or at least in person, I didn't. Like I would try to talk to them like online and shit like that. But then I would also be like overly talking to them, right? Like sending like multiple messages at a time.
Yeah.
Terrible. God awful.
Don't do that.
And so don't do that. Gets annoying. But as I was kind of growing up and I was understanding just like how women are and things like that, it's like they want somebody who's confident, but then also being able to be vulnerable. And
Correct.
something that we'll talk about too in this is that it's hard. Like we want to say like being a woman's hard and things like that. And yeah, it is. But it's also hard for a guy to also be all of these different intersections of somebody and have to really combine it to even get like a date and things like that, right? Like when we talk about what a man should be and what a man is in a relationship, we have to be vulnerable, we have to be tough, we have to be a breadwinner, we have to be all these different things
Awesome.
in order to complete what they want and what they see in a man. Because let's be honest here, if you're like, oh yeah, I stay at my mom's house and like I'm barely making minimum wage, a lot of women are not gonna like that.
Yep.
Because they want somebody who's a breadwinner, who's a winner in general. And so it's tough sometimes really putting on, like, because we all go through tough times in our life. I don't care who you are.
Yep.
And even though we are at our lowest, it's tough getting higher, especially when you're alone, because it's, you don't have anybody backing you up. And so I think that we really get materialistic in terms of like what we want from each other.
Yep.
And I think that we as men kind of really get tough on, because we're not only supposed to be making all this and doing all this and making sure our life is perfect to show to people, but we also have to make sure that like any of our problems we kind of keep inside until like later on when they're ready to like really hear it from us. And like that's a tough thing to really swallow sometimes,
So this is where we're going to do some like therapizing here then. So one of the biggest issues that I face as a therapist, clinician, so a reaction to this is, right, this feels like a really good, authentic relationship between like two like funny people, shit talky people. Obviously, Shoresy's probably neurodivergent as fuck. And then she's got her own kid. She's a grown ass woman. She's strong, independent, but also being very reserved because she has to because of her kid and also her heart.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go out in the world, right, men have to show up a certain way, women have to show up a certain way, right? Everyone has to show up a certain way. There's all these labels. Doesn't matter what you are, even if you're non-binary or trans. We're all trying to live by the societal view of like how we're supposed to show up, which is suffocating for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what gets really hard for a lot of my people to like put themselves out there, Spence, is they don't even know what persona to use.
Right.
Do I dress like this? Do I hold back? And so I'll get so many clients that are neurodivergent that will not show any real authenticity. They won't talk. They'll be scared to tell them like any of the real stuff, and they'll present that they're like really fine and okay. That they don't have ADHD, anxiety, OCD, trauma, autism, right? They won't show those.
Right.
Because they don't want the other person to be like, oh, there's something wrong with you. There's too much baggage.
They don't want to get rejected.
They don't want to get rejected because of that.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of clients with a lot of trauma and like family, a lot of familyhood dynamics or like poverty issues. Mm-hmm. They don't want to tell their partner about those issues ever because, right, then they're going to think that maybe, oh, like father, like son, like mother, like daughter. And like you go from so there's a lot of reasons why we hide a lot of things, those of us that are neurodivergent.
Right.
Neurotypicals too, but it's just very scary because you don't know why you're going to get rejected. So you hide.
Yeah.
Which is really tough because how do you actually really get to know and love the person that you want to be with if you're just showing them the mask? So this is when we always talk about masking. So I don't want to spend time really talking about that.
Yeah.
It's just really hard. And the cool thing is when people actually get to like be real and funny and like everyone wants to chill and laugh. Rarely will you get this bullshit in society today now. We're like, I need a high value man or woman. They just want to have a good time. And so Spence, I find myself working with all genders.
Mm-hmm.
But some of my women, they'll be looking for partners, this and that, right? And they're like, Nas, I just don't know. I'm like, what? Do they treat you good? Do you laugh? Do you smile? Like, what's good? They treat me magnificent, but it's not necessarily the job or the occupation that I wanted. And so we have to navigate what are our biases?
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking for? Financial status, right? And then also like, how does that person make you feel?
Yeah.
And it's really hard for neurodivergent folks to understand how someone makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
I got clients, Vince, and I'll ask them, so do you like them? I don't know. Okay. So I have to rephrase it in multiple different ways. And like, what does your body feel when you're around them? Is it a repulse, reclusive, or is it like you want to go to them? And then we'll slowly talk about like, did you like it when they held your hand? They're like, maybe, maybe not. Do you find yourself reaching for their hand when they reach out? You know, I find myself reaching out more. Oh, so maybe you do like it. Or maybe you're just getting used to it. So we start talking about like, do they feel grounded and calmer with certain people? Because they might not have the words. A lot of my folks really struggle with words. So we start looking at the body's issues and how they're like regulating. I got people now, man, that they can never see themselves breaking up with their partner because they're just so regulated. They're like dependent now. Yeah. And not like a bad dependent. Like they just, that's their person. Right. Like someone, a couple humans. But like when people break up, I'm like, you need co-regulation. As a neurodivergent, autistic, or ADHD, whatever it is. So I'm like, let's get a dog. Let's get a cat. I'll write you the letter. Someone recently pushed back on me. They were kind of mean. They're like, I'm not getting a cat. I'm like, bitch, calm down. I'll smack the shit out of you now. You know, Bubble gonna shrimp your ass. And then they get a cat, and it's like magnificent. They can sleep now. Probably don't need as much anxiety meds as they did before. Like, yes, my guy. Like, I told them to foster a cat first, and they just fucking buy one from like a different country. I'm like, okay, you want a little
goddamn
autism, bro? You go all or nothing. So
yeah, $10,000 on this cat.
I'm like, damn, that's most I've ever spent on some Gucci.
I'll be a cat. I'll take a shit in a box. I don't care.
Oh my god, I have to say this.
Give me
now.
$10,000. Give me that $10,000.
Take a shit in a box. You're gonna be someone's furry.
$10,000. I'll do it.
I'll shit in that box for you. I had this client the other day, man. They said that I didn't say it in the last podcast, it's too inappropriate, but we're just talking, and he's like, we're going through the autism screeners that's in the link tree. Please go check those out. A lot of people have been commenting on them. All the links are active. They work. Check them out. It's all free. Don't spend fucking $3,000 if you don't have to. Go use our resources. Spread the word. You know, give it to people. Therapists, everyone take it. And me and this person are going through it, and they're like, yeah, man, at parties, like, I just want to escape. Like, if there's a cat, like, and this is a masculine person, there's a cat, like, I'll just be like, I mean, that's my thing. He's like, I'll be chasing that pussy all around the room. And I'm like, my guy. And like, I was like, no.
Dirty fuck.
I know. And they're not a dirty fuck at all. Like, he's so fucking like asexual. So the joke was so fucking funny to me, bro. I was dead. I was like, you piece of shit. And they're like, I knew you'd like that. I was like, what? I'm not a pervert.
Oh, wait a minute.
I know, I'm the pervert. Surprise.
Said it here.
Said it here. Informed consent. So we get this thing with neurodivergent folks is how do we know what we like and when? Really tough. So ask yourselves, try to figure it out. Don't just pay attention to thoughts, but also actions, somatic stuff. You can see from his character, Shoresy, those of you that are neurodivergent, pay attention to how he acts. That's what me and Spencer are talking about.
Yeah.
Look at his facial expressions, his words, his voices, his affirmations. He keeps asking her out, like, to food. Hey, you want to try some miso ramen? What the fuck is that?
Ramen and miso soup. I
don't know. But
Canadians.
I know. So I'm gonna pivot, and then there's the one scene where he's talking outside the pub.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, why do you still do this hockey? Like, you're the last person in, last person out. Like, I mean, you're old, you're degenerate pretty much. Like, bro, hang it up.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got into a fight at the pub. Everyone hated me. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But in hockey, they love me for this. It's like hockey in the ice is the only place I know I can be home and like celebrated and loved. Which is like the softer side in which he it kind of falls for him in that moment. Everyone, Spence, doesn't matter what your neurotype is, just wants to be like valued and heard and affirmed. And for a lot of neurodivergent folks, that's hard to get. We're so othered all the time. It's hard to find out where you fit in. For you, Spence, being black and white, it's hard to, where do you fit in? College educated, where do you fit in?
I fit in with the weirdos.
I don't lie. Like, I never really fit in with anyone until I met like all my autistic friends. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
One of my first friends in elementary, I just saw they got married.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Cornelius.
Of course, there's Cornelius.
I know. Like, bro, he like black as hell, man. I love him to death. And
Really?
then,
With
like,
the name Cornelius?
oh my God.
Think?
I mean, he's the one who had me on Dragon Ball Z back in the day. And like, I ain't talked to him. I rarely ever talk to him. Because like this is like elementary school.
Soul Train.
Bruh. He's so autistic. I'm like, even my friend in elementary was autistic? Jesus. He's so autistic.
Of course he was.
So autistic, my guy. So autistic.
Should have saw the signs.
I seen the little fucking bow tie he had on for his wedding. I'm like, oh yeah, you're autistic as shit. Yeah.
What does that mean?
I know. He was fresh as hell.
Bow tie?
He was fresh, but it was tism. I almost sent you his photo and him like, you would have been like, yeah, he's autistic.
Yeah. No, there he is.
Black man. I don't know why I had to say that.
Couldn't look anybody in the eyes. Just like,
yep.
He's up here.
You may kiss the bride, kisses her shoulder. Jesus. Why do we bully our own people?
I don't know.
We're horrible.
No.
I say the same shit to my clients. They have a great time. I think they do. I'm always like, is it good for you?
Get your balls tugged. It's fine.
Give your balls a tug. So I just think that's a really good moment, though, is his vulnerability in those moments makes her love him. Not in love, but she's like, hey, let's go home. Really awesome thing to see a very masculine man, Spencer, violent man, show realness and emotionality. One last story, and then we're going to kick it to a couple other topics. I go do these talks with men, these frat houses. I got a couple coming up April 6th, 2 of them back to back. And it's going to be awesome going to these frats, right? And like, no one wants to go in a frat, right? Because, it's a frat. It's frat boys, like it's drunks, there's assault that goes on in there, right? Bunch of nasty shit, nasty motherfuckers in there, right? And then, but I go in there and the boys just stuck to me like glue.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of reorganizing on how we look at mental health. And I know I have really a lot of privilege in there because I'm not like this little white girl that goes in there because most therapists are little white girls, white women. And then I go in there, big boy talking shit. And then in every talk I ever do, Spence, I cry. You've seen me do talks. Like I'm a cry. I'll touch on a topic of depression, sadness, suicidality. Sometimes I'll talk on, grief. So I'll bring up mom or bro. And the only way to save people's lives is to show them your humanity. And, people get choked up when I talk. And so it's really awesome that after those talks, men will come up to me, thank me, right? I'll get emails. I remember one of the boys emailed. I know a lot of you are listening to this. So all the frat homies, shout out to y'all for having me keep coming back. Young man sends me an email. He said, dealt with anxiety, depression, and suicidality my entire life. I've never heard anyone talk like you about this stuff, about being really emotional. And like, that's what it is to be a man, also to be emotional. And he's like, honestly, dude, I that was like life-giving. He's like, I don't need any therapy. Like, I'm good right now. But like, to hear you talk about that and like to break with us, he's like, dude, I responded like, I got your back, man. Like, if you need anything, just let me know. But a real man can't cry and be emotional. And that's what we see with Shoresy. Mm-hmm. You can hold multiple identities and still be very masculine. You can hold multiple identities and still be very feminine. So I know we've been talking a lot about men. A lot of my women of color have to hold that shit in. I'm working with a lot of moms right now, Spence, a lot of autistic moms.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, you want to talk about some resilient motherfuckers right there. I'm like, I don't know how you do this.
Right.
I remember one time I was like, how come you don't cry in session? They're like, because I can't. I'm like, what do you mean you can't? Because if I do, it'll never stop. I'm like, Jesus, that's real shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people with functional anxiety and depression out there, and vulnerability tends to be the key if you have supports. Love this show for the vulnerability he shows and the crying that he shows, which we're about to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think that he was going to be rizzing up this girl like this and like be solely focused? Do you think he'd be like just a straight up jackass?
Jackass.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we just, obviously, I haven't seen the show and stuff like that until these scenes, but yeah, especially hockey players.
I know.
The biggest fucking, just the biggest hose you've ever seen.
The biggest dicks around.
That really, wait a minute. I don't know if I agree with that.
Have you seen the Collins? What?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I love doing
Other people who play hockey too.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I think once we talk about just like having that openness about people, and also he's an older guy. I think as we get older, we get softer.
We do.
And more willing to actually open up to certain people, because we're gonna, it's either we do it now or we're gonna be alone all of our lives, essentially, or we're gonna be in like a horrible relationship where we're not even communicating with the person that we're with, and then that just turns into something terrible, and something that we shouldn't be doing. So
facts.
Yeah, at some point we do open up. It's for like the right people, because once you get the feeling for like this is the person, like you already know, that's what it is.
And it's like now you got no choice but to open up. It's wild when my clients won't do it. I'm like, so if you don't want to do it with them, that means you know that they're going to judge you, which means that this might not be the right person, because if they're not opening that gate for you, something's going on. What's holding you back? Right. We talk about that in therapy. With him, all out there in the open, and with her, she's so fucking masculine. Laura Moore, she's telling her how it is. Go fuck yourself. You coming at a woman like that correctly. I love me a strong woman, I like to be in a little spoon. Little spoon.
How the fuck does that work?
I don't. Like, girl, you like bacon bits on my back. Get off me.
God damn, her feet are hanging off the bed. Man, she gotta be a big one.
They got tall. She gotta be tall.
She gotta be tall. Gotta be tall.
Ooh, man, homegirl tall too.
Of course.
Yeah, no. Man, I saw the
tall black woman.
Tall black woman. She got the little storm.
She can dunk on me if she wants.
She got that storm gray streak too, boy. I'm like, I just want, I just want to play around in it,
I just see your face as she dunks on you. Just I take my fate.
Take me now, God.
Never gonna get better than this.
It's never gonna get better than this. I might as well just. You got a doctorate now. You're saving lives. Go ahead and just suffocate me with your legs.
Yeah.
Crush me with your thighs, girl. I'm gonna swim.
I hope she watches this shit.
She ain't watching this shit. I hope she does watch this, girl. I'm in love.
Just so you know, you can crush me.
I'm gonna just start playing that T-Pain song. I'm in love with a stripper. I used to play that on my Nextel all the time.
Oh God, show your fucking age. No one's gonna know what the fuck you're talking about.
I know. Fucking teeny
Nextel.
Nextel. Chirp. Bruh. A little Pippin.
Yes.
We show some scenes where he cries. First scene, we see him crying when he's about to get kicked off the team because of fighting, right? Because they were going to lose a game. So he decided to start a fight so they couldn't play the game. So if you can't win, don't play. That's his motto. So he's like, hey, we ain't get, the guys didn't show up. We're going to kick some ass. So they're getting ready to boot him. They don't boot him is what we see. And then you immediately see his face start doing that lip quiver like a bulldog thing. And so I want folks to pay attention. For a lot of neurodivergent folks, if you're not sure how to read people's emotions, try to look at their micro expressions in their face. So you see his lips start to quiver, right, in his eyes, and he starts to be a little shaky, right? He starts to reclude into himself. Pay attention to those things, right? Because when you're talking to someone, it's good to know that way you can adjust your tone and be more affirming for them. And we see him just like start like he just turns around and just cries on the owner of the hockey team on her shoulder. I'm just like, oh God, all the women in the show are so gorgeous. I hate it. The one little girl on the little short one. I don't even like short people, man. I don't mean it as bad as that sounded just right now, but like,
yeah, you love the short people and you hate them.
I know. So she's just so cute. I'm just like, beep boop. You just want better on her head.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, get out of here.
Girl, let me take you to school.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
Come on, girl.
Let me hold your book back.
Chemistry. Damn. When he cries in that scene, I was like, what? You see him cry in the very first, second episode, actually, when they're going to close the team. And he like holds on to his boy because he doesn't want to cry. You see him cry with his family when he's like super injured and he just loves them so much because he grew up in a foster home. So a lot of trauma before he got to the foster home. You see him cry again when he's going to get kicked out. And then you see him cry again in a later scene, which we showed when they win the National Canadian Championship for senior hockey. And bro, when he cries at that senior game, Spence, like he bends down. I've had those cries when you're just like you're like shaking. Bro, that shit hurt. And it's a very quick scene. And then she doesn't say anything. She kneels down. She rubs his back and she just sits there with him. Yeah. And maybe 5 or 6 moments in the show, she just sits there with him and she doesn't say anything. People understand that he's very autistic in the show. And most of the time he doesn't need a talking to. He just needs someone to be there to be with him and to regulate. And the owner does that almost every time. And like she's been with this guy through thick and thin. Her mother passed away. She took over the team. And Shoresy's been on the team pretty much her entire like adulthood. And so she's very tied to him and loves him very much. He almost dies in the show. He gets fucking hit so hard that it looked like he was dead. And she's like devastated. And she tells him that you can't play anymore and you're going to retire. And she's like, I'm not going to let you play anymore. And he gets so mad at her and he just holds back the tears. Like, I'm just fucking so mad at you. And he just starts crying. And like, you just feel for the guy because he's a real human.
Yeah.
Why do I care about these things? Spence, I don't think I really understood. I'm a very emotional boy. Everyone knows that. Y'all on the pod know that. I didn't know it was cool to cry until I saw like some prime athletes like cry. I'm like, oh shit. If like these boxers and these basketball players can cry, if I see fucking Kevin Garnett bawling after he wins, if I see these players like sobbing, these athletes, I'm like, this must be okay. The Super Bowl this year, there was this big guy. I don't remember what dude it was, but he was just sitting there with his little child, just bawling his fucking eyes out as an offensive like lineman.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just awesome, man. To see men just be happy and like happy tears. I told the client, I said, one day you're going to be so fucking happy, you're going to be sobbing. They said, Nas, I can't wait for that day. I said, it'll come. I love seeing men cry, man. I feel like if a man is able to let out some emotions, it greatly reduces them taking their own lives. It helps other men heal. I remember the first time I saw your ass get choked up with me, my guy. That shit was tough. I was like, bro, you good? You're like, I'm fine. I was like, you good? I was like, I'm worried about you.
Yeah. I had like 1 or 2 times where I'm just like, yep, there it is.
Yep. And like, I know you get choked up when I get choked up sometimes, or Pops will get choked up and then we'll all get choked up. Like that happens.
Yeah.
There's just good moments. Most of the time when I cry around you, it's like good moments.
Yeah.
I think it's just men they have to let it out, man. Any dudes watching, any folks watching, other genders, any women watching, please let them know that it's okay to be emotional. Please don't hold that against them for being emotional. Don't be like, oh, he's soft or this or that. Don't do that. And never make fun of a dude if he shows emotion like that, because now they never will. So you can't clown a dude.
No.
I got a client, Spence. He was like, I don't even want to like tell my wife about this shit because I feel like she's gonna hold this against me. I'm like, bruh, like if she was to hold you getting therapy against you, you know how fucked up that would be?
Pretty fucked up.
There's no way that's gonna happen. Your wife is not gonna do that. And he's like, you right, man. I don't even know why I'm thinking like that. Like, bruh, if she does, we gotta go. Like, I'll sign the papers for your ass. We getting divorced.
Yeah.
All that makes sense.
I just think like it's because sometimes for a lot of men, we don't think forward. We just think about now.
Mhm.
We think about what's happening right now.
I believe,
And
yep.
so once that we actually do start thinking forward, it's not usually for the best, it's for the worst that could happen. I don't like sometimes I don't think
Facts.
about what is going to be positively happening to me forward in life. I think about what negatives could happen so that then I can be ready for it once
Plan.
it does happen. Yeah. Like we plan those things out. We don't plan like our best thing, like, man, I'm gonna grow old and then I'm gonna do da, 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 da. I'm gonna be the CEO of this company and shit like that. I don't think about that. I think about like what things could hurt me in the future so that then I could head those off and like be, ready for what's about to happen. And so and it's weird because a lot of women don't think like that. They think about like everything going
Mhm.
forward. They think
Yep.
about the best and the worst. And so a lot of people don't understand that that's why we kind of hold things in and we don't tell people because we only are thinking about like the bad things to prepare for in the future. And a lot of people see that as like crazy and shit. But I mean, it's something to where we want to make sure that we aren't hurt and we aren't going to be just, just alone at the end of the day. Even though
Prepared.
I'm pretty sure a lot of guys can be alone. And do that shit. But it's like since we're with somebody now we have to think about, oh shit, if I tell them too much, then they're just gonna use that against me you know, because especially just how divorce and shit like that is today. It's very tough on men because we also financially have to give up so much and every little thing we gotta go for. So
And then, you could get blamed for a lot of stuff as a dude. It's really hard for us to talk, communicate, open up. Then we might take that out. We see that the men are using, the higher rates of neurodivergent folks, men being addicts, addicted to things, and that gets in the way of our ability to love. Relationships can go down the shitter. Now we're treating our family poor, right? And then now that. And so that we see the higher rates of men committing suicide.
yeah.
And so I'll tell my boys this. I said, y'all got to make these friends and real connections. Y'all got to get over this bullshit and start talking to each other.
Yeah.
Because we don't make a lot of friends as we get older as men. You make them in high school, college, right? And then you're just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird now. And like, I don't want to. And like, I got, I'm just going to just die alone. And so we see a lot of neurodivergent folks, man. We're just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going to just do my own thing, play the video games, drink, chill. And like, I don't need no one. And in actuality, some people are good with that. A lot of neurodivergent folks are good with that. They're cool being isolated. But majority of us humans want companionship.
Yeah.
And whether some of these folks are, I don't need a companionship, I'm fucking around. Yeah, okay. Holla at me in a couple of years, homie. Companionship is a big thing for a lot of people, and marriages fall apart for a fucking million different reasons.
Yeah.
It's harder on men because there really isn't too much support. It's hard for everyone.
Yeah.
But I would say as a dude, I feel like it's harder for men because there isn't as much supportive and affirming places for men when the emotions are terrible, when things go bad, when the breakup happens. It's usually like a lot of shit talking and razzing. They're like, hey, let's go drink. Like immediately it's like, hey, let's go drink. And it's for a lot of the women I work with, that's not it. There's some friends, some family members, good emotional talk, support, affirming care. Dude's like, hey man, let's get drunk. Like, and it's like, my guy, alcohol is going to make this shit way worse.
Yeah.
So I feel that too. I feel like it's not as good for us because there's not the wraparound care.
Well, and I think something that guys need to also hang on to is like, sometimes we don't need to just, sometimes we, obviously, if you want to ask like, hey man, you good? You want to talk about this? Like, you can ask that. But I think just starting like just a normal conversation with somebody and just talking to them goes a long way also. Because when you ask that question, then they backpedal and they get protective and they're like, I don't want to.
I'm fine.
yeah, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm good. Like they immediately go that way. So it's more about just like talking about, asking direct questions about shit and not just like this vague kind of like, basic question of like, you good, you want to talk about it? Because a lot of the time they're not going to want to talk about it and stuff like that.
So
My advice is just giving, just talking to somebody and asking direct questions and not just cutting through the bullshit. To be honest with you.
So let's do an example for folks, right? Because sometimes we're vague here, and I know me and you are vague sometimes because we're just talking. Direct question would be is, hey man, how you dealing with this?
Yeah.
Like, hey man, are you eating?
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, you having any suicidal thoughts, man? I want you to be for real with me. Like, you thinking about doing anything crazy?
Yeah.
Like, hey man, you like, I know you like got a lot of weapons at the house. Like, should we, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, how's your drinking been? Hey man, you showing up for work? Hey man, you still picking your kids up? Like, those are questions you could be a little bit more direct, as long as you got that relationship.
Yeah.
And then doing what the owner did too is like sitting in it sometimes is just all a dude needs.
Yeah.
But then also doing what Spence says is those direct questions are awesome. Like, hey man, I just had someone the other day after a breakup. I said, you need to ask them if they're safe to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would I do that? I think they're fine. I'm like, ask them if they're safe to be alone. I think that we need to do that. I did the same thing with one of my good friends when I thought something I'm not going to mention, but I don't have that many friends. And I told Spence, I said, hey man, I said, I need you to, if something bad happens, I need you to take the guns out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're going to do. And I need you to take the guns out of the house. I was talking to someone recently and he's like, I'm not going to lie. If I would have lost my partner because they were super sick and they were having surgery on some stuff, he's like, if I would have lost my partner, and then they just didn't say anything. I was like, I know, man, you don't got to say it.
Yeah.
He's like, it wouldn't have been good. And I said, I know. I'm not judging you for it either, my guy. It's tough to lose that person that grounds you, even if you're in the horrible, like not horrible, but you got shit going on. Even if there's shit going on, it's still really hard to lose your person. Recently, Spence, he's right. The private practice is awesome, folks. I love it. Love all the stuff I'm doing. A dude tells me, and I posted it too on a few things. He said, Nas, I told my boy about you. Said, yeah. He's like, man, I told him that you saved my life. I was like, Jesus, man. I'm like, bro, you need to stop. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, you need to stop, man. I'm about to cry. He's like, man, you so soft. I'm like, stop, man. He's like, I want my boy to see you. And the guy said, he'll think about it. I said, that's pretty cool, man. I said, I can't believe that you said that. He's like, I don't think you're the fucking King Tut of this shit, guy. Don't get it twisted. But he's like, you saved my life and my marriage. I said, dude, that's you, man. I'm just some fat dude sitting in a chair, man. Like, that's all you. I think a lot of men are really scared to go into therapy because they don't know what's on the other side. And I think being neurodivergent, talking shit, masculine helps. I think the goofiness, like Shoresy, the masculinity, but also that femininity and the softness helps. Anyone who can show their realness like Shoresy, that's my fucking guy. Maybe they blow the lid. Maybe they're assholes.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have that than someone that doesn't give me nothing. Shoresy, you know what he wants. He gonna chase you down, and don't get it twisted. I know there's a lot of autistic folks. It's really hard to emote feelings or feel feelings or show feelings, right? I'm not taking a dig or shot at them. I'm saying it's really nice to know where you stand with someone. For being a dumbass, Shoresy's pretty good at communicating. This pod, folks, was to talk about this autistic-coded character, but also men, masculinity, crying, emotions, authenticity. I hope folks leave comments about how did they date? Are they weird or awkward? Are they scared to be alone? A lot of us are alone that are neurodivergent because of the inability to socialize, severe social anxiety, fear of rejection, bullying that's happened. We're going to get into a lot of bullying in the next episode for Power Rangers. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your feelings. How was dating for you? Are you more of a Shoresy? Kind of just talking shit, seeing where it gets you in trouble? Are you more stoic, reserved? You got more riz or swag? Or are you like super anxious? Is everything scripted in your head? Or you just sit there mute as shit? Yeah. I hope y'all go check out the show. I really do. I feel like it's really good for like men and masculinity. I feel like it gives you a good representation of what it is to be a good man. Because there's a lot of good boys in that movie show. Mm-hmm. Any sauce, Spence?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right.
Yeah, with that. I'm Spencer. That's nice. Different Special Podcast.
All right, peoples. Much love. And remember, take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
It's completely up to you. Peace. I nailed it.